In this video, I'm going to talk about why I left my corporate job. After working for a while, I felt I needed some time to figure it out, to take a break, to see what I really want in the future before being further sucked into this corporate job. I'm totally aware that I was in a very privileged position to do this kind of thing, because I know a lot of people can't quit their job. They rely on this one single stream of income. Just to give you a bit of my background information, I graduated with a bachelor degree in finance. So after I graduated, I applied for a few big banks and also other companies. And the first company that called me into the interview was a pharmaceutical company. They were the first one who offered me the job. So I was excited and I agreed. Even though my background was finance, I was offered a marketing analyst position. So basically, I supported marketing manager and product managers with market analysis and database and numbers and stuff like that. That position was only a temporary position, so I didn't really think that I would stick with the company for too long. However, after 6 months, I guess I was doing pretty well in my job, so I was offered a permanent position. I got more involved in the business in general. After 1 year, I negotiated with the company again because my scope has ballooned to other areas as well. My title was changed to business intelligence. What I loved about my job was that I had a lot of autonomy. My boss let me to do whatever I want, whatever I see fit, as long as I achieve the results. I love that kind of freedom. I was involved in a lot of strategic discussions and meetings. It was really exciting for the first 1 to 2 years. And another thing I loved about my job was that I had amazing managers and work colleagues. I was technically a workaholic. I worked from 9 a.m. until 7 to 8 p.m. When I got home, sometimes I still opened my laptop to work until midnight. I also worked on the weekends. I often brought my laptop to a cafe and sat there for like 5 to 6 hours more. I don't know. I just loved working. I just loved exploring different areas, different methods, different ways to make my job more productive, and different ways for me to help the team to achieve the target. So overall, my experience at my first job was very, very positive. Then came the third year. Also came the biggest realizations. First realization that I had was that money doesn't drive me as much as I thought it would. Growing up, I always wanted to earn a lot of money because to me, money was the only measure for success. When I was in high school and uni, I aspired to climb to the highest position in a corporation, like preferably CFO. But when I earned a lot of money from my job and was living the lifestyle that I believe a lot of fresh graduates would wish to have, I came to a realization that I don't need that much money to live. I admit that I'm thrifty. I saved the majority of my income. I didn't spend on clothes. I didn't spend on cosmetic or makeups or bags or shoes or anything like that. I just didn't have the drive to look rich or look wealthy in the eyes of other people. I thought to myself, if I kept this pace of working, of achieving in my job, and then eventually climb up, and the higher I climb, the more money I earn, what am I gonna use the money for? What am I gonna do with the money? The only thing I thought I would spend my saving on would be a house. But then it was also the time where I was in this bubble of, okay, I'm an independent woman. I don't need a man. I don't need a family. If I live like this with the utmost freedom, I wouldn't need a big house to begin with. So when I think about money as a goal, I didn't feel motivated at all because I didn't see any point of having so much money. The second realization that I had was that being on top of a corporate hierarchy is not as glamorous as people make it out to be. You suddenly earn a lot of money when you are up there. However, you have to consider the price you have to pay for the position to a certain point, it's just not worth it anymore. The amount of money that you earn is nothing compared to the portion of your life that is totally consumed into the performance of a company. Another thing I've learned is that the higher you climb, the more scattered your focus would be. You would spend very minimal amount of your time on the technical stuff, which is, I think, the more interesting stuff. The majority of your time would be spent to make sure other people do their work. For example, your direct reports have to finish this on this day, the other person have to finish that on that day, and like you have to chase other people to give you whatever that you need. So when I think of it, I think my attention would be very fragmented. I would be divided into different things that I really don't care. So climbing the corporate ladder becomes less and less attractive to me the more I learn about what exactly the managers are doing with their time and with their energy. Even if you're a CEO in a company in this one country, you're still under the regional division, and then the region is also under like global. Basically, you have to satisfy a lot of layers above you. You have to deal with a lot of people high up, and a lot of times the target that are assigned to your company come from someone who sit on the other side of the planet who has no idea whatsoever about the situation that your company is operating in. It creates a lot of frustrating situations where you receive this number that you have to achieve at the end of the year, and then you have to conjure up all of your ability to come up with a plan to achieve this number, but then at the same time you really believe in all your ability that this number is really impossible. So you could tell that the higher you are in a corporate hierarchy, the more time you have to spend in a meeting room to explain yourself, to come up with ideas to achieve certain number that don't really make sense. A lot of toxicity in an organization comes from the area where people are pushed to produce certain result, but it's not really possible for them to do in a straightforward way, but in a more slightly unethical way. And the third realization that I had was that it's kind of pointless to put all of my energy, my time, and my youth into serving this machine whose ultimate purpose is to create profit. I asked myself, what meaning does my company serve anyway? Maybe my company does create values to a lot of people out there. However, when I was working there, I couldn't see that values that the company claims to create. The only thing I saw was how my colleagues and my managers frantically run around to try to fulfill certain numbers. Every morning when I went to work, and then at night and when I went home, I always asked myself, why am I doing this? And it got to the point where I realized that if I kept doing this, I would end up on my deathbed with nothing else to be proud of but the fact that I helped this company achieve this number these years, and that's it. In conclusion, the only advice I want to give the young people out there is that don't believe in the lies of how glamorous climbing a corporate ladder looks like. Of course, you gain a lot of things when you are up there in a high position. However, you also sacrifice a lot of things. You have to be aware of your sacrifice, and you have to be the one who picks your sacrifice. If you're not aware of your own sacrifices and you let other people, for instance, the media and the corporations, choose your sacrifices, ultimately you will be the slave for this whole system. I'm not trying to say that the big corporations are evil or they're trying to ruin people's lives. I think they just do whatever they're supposed to do. They just stick to the rule of the game. And our roles as an individual is to realize our values, our meaning, and not to be sucked into whatever that these forces create. There's this vicious cycle that a lot of people are trapped into. So the corporations trying to sell us these products, including nice clothes, branded cars, big houses, and things like that. They're trying to tell us that these are indicative of how successful we are in life. And to attain these things, we have to work our ass off. And who do you think will be benefited from us working our ass off? Of course, these corporations themselves. That's why I also found myself in conflict with the current feminism movement, because essentially what I'm trying to sell is the career life, the corporate life for young women. They over glorify the corporate life without telling young women what are the things that these young women are sacrificing to attain this life. And who do you think would be benefited from women joining the workforce? Of course, the corporations, now they have double the supply of labor, and they even have more negotiating power in terms of wages and salary. I just want to add that I'm not here trying to condemn corporate jobs in any way, because I know that they do add value to so many people out there. If you're willing to sacrifice other aspects of your life to pursue or to be in a stressful but high-paying job, then just go for it. I really, really respect your choice, because I know how hard it is to be up there in the hierarchy. Here, I'm just trying to put things into perspective for the young people who are similar to who I used to be, who are over enthusiastic about climbing the corporate ladder without being aware of the price they have to pay. I think there's so many valuable and important things in life beyond a job or position or a title in a big company, like your family, your friends, your hobby, your personal developments, and your personal goal. I think it's important for us to be clear about where our personal goal is overlapped with the company's goal, and that overlap area is very important. So when the company asks you to do something that is against your personal value or doesn't really add anything to your personal goal, or maybe it does add some value but the cost of doing it outweighs the benefit, then you know whether or not you should say no. And to be able to say no, you should gain your negotiating power. For example, for me, there was one time the company tried to ask me to do more administrative tasks. I know for sure that I wouldn't want to do those tasks, and I know that doing those tasks wouldn't add anything to my skill or wouldn't add any things to the main job that I had. I refused to do so. And to have the power to say no, I was aware of my values to the company. I gained this value by being the best at whatever I did at my job, and I tried to automate as much as I could so that I have more time to be involved in more strategic area of the business. When the company could see that the cost of you quitting and hiring maybe 2-3 other people to replace you is so huge, they would want to make sure that you're happy. Please feel free to share with me your experience of working in a corporate job. I only worked for 4 years in a global organization, so it's not that substantial to arrive at any conclusion. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!